Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamika Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are doing another real life budget. This is where we showcase and I show and demonstrate how I would organize and budget a real reader's budget. So this is a reader who submitted their real numbers, their real debt, their real savings goals, and then I walk through the process of the Budget by Paycheck method on how I would manage and budget that reader's money and their income. So let's get started. All right, today we're going to be talking about a reader. It's a husband and a wife. They do their finances separately, but they both contribute to a joint checking account. So the first step in my budgeting process is figuring out and establishing your why. So this is my reader's why. It's to show her children good money management skills, as well as to go on a vacation without relying on debt. And here's a little bit more about her personal story. So she says, I've always tried to save from the moment I started to work at the age of 16, but it has never happened. I've never been able to save more than $500 at a time. Something has always come up. I'm currently married and have 2 children, our youngest being 4 and the older one due to finish high school in a few years. So this is a little bit about the reader who submitted her budget and her information for me to show how I would manage and budget her money using the Budget by Paycheck method. So with these real life budgets, I'm already assuming that my readers are tracking their spending. Because in my eyes, in order to submit the information that they do to me, for me to showcase these budgets, they had to know where their money was going, or a little bit about their finances. So the next step is tracking and categorizing your spending. So let's talk about this reader's income. So this reader, we're only going to be documenting this reader's budget, not her husband's budget or income, because they do things separately. So we're going to be showcasing her paycheck. She gets paid bi-weekly for $955.54. We're rounding down to $955. So in April, April is one of those months where she's getting 3 paychecks on the 2nd, the 16th, and the 30th. So tracking your spending, and if you're doing that, you're going to identify your regular bills, which is step number 3 in my budgeting by paycheck process. Here is this reader's bills. Now, some of these, I don't know what they mean, like Noggin or Bill Me Simple or Tanger. I don't know what those are, but I did include them because they are bills that she is paying every single month. All right, so her regular bills equal $1,040. And that's the first thing that I want you to figure out when you're tracking your spending. What are the regular bills or fixed expenses that you have to pay every single month like clockwork? So, like I said, her bills equal $1,040. If we subtract that from her income that she gave us, you can see we do have some money left over and some wiggle room to work with as far as savings goals, debt, and sinking funds. So, her variable expenses. Your variable expenses are going to be your cash envelopes. Now, cash envelopes is step number 4 in my Budget by Paycheck process. It's really important that your spending become tangible and real. And one of the ways that came into my life was by using cash and becoming an all-cash spender. So if you want more information on my Budget by Paycheck method or my financial freedom steps, you can find that in the description of this video. So she has 5 different cash envelopes that she uses, and she gave us a monthly amount that we are working with that she would like to have for those cash envelopes. These are her savings goals. And what I loved about this reader's information is that she's not trying to overextend herself in her budget. She was very realistic when it came to her savings goals. So she wants to do an emergency fund, a cushion or a buffer in her checking account. Now, the cushion or buffer in your checking account is something that I implement in my own life. It's just sitting in your account, especially as a zero-based budgeter. You're going to want to have that checking account buffer in your checking account if a bill is higher than expected, or maybe a bill pops up that you didn't know about. It just saves you from those overdraft fees and the stress. So she also has 2 sinking funds. Now, she didn't provide us with the holidays that she's specifically saving for. She just said, I have a holiday in July and September that I'd like to save for, and she'd like $500 for both of those holidays. So what we did is we took the yearly amount that she wants to save, how many months she has to save for that goal starting right now, and then we said, okay, well, if she wants $500 by July, that means technically we have April, May, and June, because with any time you're saving for a sinking fund, you want to make sure that you save that amount of money before the actual goal date. So we'd like to have that in June, at the end of June, so she can spend that in the month of July. She'd be doing $167 a month and then $100 a month for other holiday. Now let's look at her debt. So her debt, she's dealing with a couple of different things. She has a couple different credit cards, her car, which is her highest debt. She's dealing with 2 different Target credit cards. One is a joint card that she is paying half the expense for that, and one is just her Target card. And then she owes her cousin $64. We're putting it down as a one-time payment because we figured we could pay that off with her first paycheck that we're going to be documenting today. So what does this look like in the budget by paycheck method and process? So the first thing is your budget calendar. It's getting every single paycheck or payday on your calendar, as well as any holidays, events, or bills that you have to pay. So with these real life budgets, we don't know what type of holidays or events they may have happening in their life, but we do know their bills. So every single payday we highlighted in a different color. And then we have our little color chart down here for what each color represents on our calendar. The whole point of getting things onto your budget calendar is so you can figure out what expenses you want to pay with each paycheck. So we decided with the things that were due on April 1st, we paid with her March 19th paycheck. So anytime you are working with multiple paychecks in one month, it's important to plan out. So as you can see, not only did we plan out for April, but we went into May as well. And we did that because some of her paychecks in April are covering expenses in May. So we went ahead and figured out what she was going to pay with each paycheck in April. And every single bill is color coordinated. So everything in blue we're paying with our paycheck on the 2nd, everything in yellow is the 16th, and then the green is on the 30th. But also keep in mind with the paychecks on the 16th and 30th, which is a yellow and green, we are also paying things in May. This is going to allow us to have a more equal amount of leftover income after each paycheck to throw towards our cash envelopes or our variable spending or savings goals or debt payoff. So let's look at how this translates into a paycheck bill tracker, which is essentially our budget. So we're dealing with her paycheck on April 2nd. We have her paycheck, and then what you do is you literally translate the bills that you highlighted on your calendar over to your bill tracker. So with her paycheck on the 2nd, she's paying $513 worth of bills, giving us $442 left over. So what do you do at that point? You then take care of your variable spending or her cash envelope. She needs that cash for groceries, gas, fun, clothing, and miscellaneous. We took the monthly amount that she gave us and we divided by 2. So all of her variable envelopes equal $267, which gives us $175 left over. So you pay your bills, you take care of your variable cash envelope or your variable spending, and then you take care of financial goals. So you have your sinking funds, you can do an extra debt payment or extra savings. Now, usually what I would do is I would establish that emergency fund first and then make extra debt payments. So that's what we're going to do, especially right now with what we're seeing in the world. Having an emergency savings is more crucial than ever. So we put the extra remaining amount in her budget to go towards emergency savings. And you would literally repeat this process for every paycheck. So you can see on April 16th paycheck, we literally took everything in yellow. And don't forget, we're also including those bills in yellow right here in May that we have to have on our budget for our April 16th paycheck. Her bills for this paycheck equal $527, giving us $428 left over. So we are going to pay her variable expenses. We're going to take care of those sinking funds. She has some holidays that she wants to prepare for with cash, so she's not relying on credit cards to do that. That gives us $28 left over in her budget, which we're going to use to fund her emergency fund. And then you would do the same thing again with her last paycheck in April. So we're talking about her April 30th paycheck. That's everything here that you see in green, including some expenses that are happening in May. And you can see that I wrote down on her budget here, if she's paying it for next month, I just put $5,300. And as you can see, everything for her April 30th paycheck is going towards next month expenses. We're taking care of those variables. And the great thing is for April, we already took care of our sinking funds. So the rest can all go towards emergency savings, $239. Now, if we look at May, so for her $514 paycheck, she's going to pay everything that you see in this dark purple, as well as things that are going to happen on June 1st. She's paying expenses in May for June. We're taking care of those variable spending again with their cash envelopes, and then her sinking funds, and then anything else is going toward extra emergency fund savings. And you can see when you work through the steps of my budget template, my paycheck bill tracker, down here at the bottom, income minus all of these different areas of expenses should equal 0. And we're totaling that right here down at the bottom. And for the last paycheck example, we need to take care of her paycheck for the last day of May. And you can see that we're covering everything, all of her bills, we're paying in June. So we're taking care of those bills, the variable cash envelopes, and then her sinking funds again. And this time she has $106 left over for emergency savings. So that is another example of a real life budget using the budget by paycheck method. Now, as you can see, it may seem like a lot of work that goes into these, but like it could take a lot of time. But we have what we call a transition month when you're transitioning into the budget by paycheck method. Because anytime you are changing your budgeting schedule or the way that you budget your money, there's going to be a little bit more upfront work that you have to deal with. And not only that, you may see and find that when you start the budget by paycheck method, that your first or second month might be a little unusual because you have to work with what you have before you get more into a regular routine or schedule with your paycheck budgets. And that is completely normal. I think the number one thing to focus on is financial honesty and awareness when you're working through the budget by paycheck method. It all has to do with being aware of where every dollar goes and then making sure that you set up a plan so that your dollars are being spent on the things that are truly important to you. So if you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe.